Some people on the comments think I have no eyebrows. I think I've got a solution for that. A beard? How's that look, boys? Eyebrows? How's that for water? Hey guys, welcome back. This is the smoker rebuild and improvement. Let's have a look. Let's have a look and take a look at just exactly what happened. I have a feeling that, well, there's a couple things that happened. I think A, it was overfired. B, there was drippings down inside the fire hole. And C, it was just made out of too much wood. So I think what we're gonna do is we're gonna tear this thing down. We're gonna get like right down inside and see where it might have occurred. I'm pretty convinced it was grease dripping down there, so I've got a plan for that. And I've got a couple improvements that I'm gonna make on this to maybe it won't happen in the future. Maybe I'll add some fail-safes to, if it is overfired, then it won't burn to the ground again. The curious part about this is that the actual firewood never burnt. It looks like the fire started in the upper area, so I'm thinking either the brisket just caught fire and burned it to the ground. And what you guys can't get from this whole thing is that this thing smells delicious. It's got something. I don't know if it's that charred cedar smell. I think this is gonna, like, everything cooked on this thing here on out is gonna taste extra flavorful. We're not cooking stuff, we're smoking it. You can kind of see the back, it's a little burnt. There's nothing at the bottom. And anytime I make something, I always have spare parts. So now that we've got it down, basically torn apart to the point where we can rebuild it. So the stuff that's here has a, structural integrity still there. It's gonna hold up our wood siding that we're gonna put back on, and the box that we're gonna put inside. So it doesn't appear as though the fire started from the sing itself. It appears as though the fire started from the brisket. I could only assume it was the grease that dripped it. So anything in the bottom, anywhere the firebox is all intact. It's basically where the smoker was, and then it basically spread from there and burnt the roof off. Learn from our mistakes, as always. Live and learn, right? Again, when you look at the trees that are close by, they basically got singed a little bit. There's not that much damage on them. There's a rope that was attached to it, and it's not even burnt. I think it's just a nylon rope, and it's still intact. There was a little bit of singeing on the some of the dead stuff that was sitting beside it, but again, nothing major. It's different if you're in California or like down south in Arizona, or desert style. It like rains every other day around here. You'd be hard pressed to actually set the forest on fire here. Not that I would try, but it's a little more difficult here than it is down there. This I had laying around. This is a stainless steel tray. It's slightly too big. It fits inside here, but it would probably prevent smoke from going up. So I'm gonna have to cut that down a little bit. It's even got a convenient little, look at that, little drip hole. So I can actually put maybe a metal tin can underneath there to collect all the juices to avoid stuff dripping down into the fire area. Well, the original plan on the smoker was to build it completely out of wood, and that's what we did originally, and that failed. So I wanted a simple solution to retrofit it, and Mark and I, my gas fitter dude, came up with a solution. It was simple, it was easy. It involved taking basically ductwork and bending it into a liner for the existing smokehouse, and that would solve a couple of problems. Basically, it would separate our fire from our wood, our combustibles, and it would contain everything. And after doing a little bit more research and discovering that, well, indeed ductwork is galvanized. There was a little bit of confusion on whether or not the ductwork was galvanized, if it was just tin. It turns out it's zinc plated, so it's galvanized. And I was told that you could take galvanizing and remove it by using either vinegar or muriatic acid. So I was like, okay, let's do this. This is a simple solution to this problem now that we've got a box made. Let's just strip it. So I got my muriatic acid, and I got my proper protective equipment, and I suited myself up, and I went about doing it. And there was like noxious fumes coming off of it. It was horrible. And I was questioning the whole thing. I was going, what am I doing? What am I doing with this? This is insane. I couldn't smell them. I could see them, and I was thinking, like, this is bad. So, and then I was like, well, halfway through, and I was like, well, you know what? Let's let's look at this again, and go on some smoking forums, and you look up the information, and they basically say that, yeah, sure, you can clean it and you can get to the point where it's mostly clean, but there's still going to be zinc present. And if you get the smoker above 200 degrees, I believe Celsius, 200 degrees Celsius, you release that zinc. Basically, you're eating the galvanizing end, and that's bad. So yeah, that's what I came up with the solution of using basically benign cement board and a piece of stainless steel. Like if I had the budget, make the whole thing out of stainless, but I didn't. So I used what I had on hand. I had some old cement board, butter that bad boy together, and yeah, retrofit complete. So you know what? If you're gonna get people to eat your meat, you want them to be safe. By now you're probably thinking, how are you gonna make this thing fireproof? Well, I brought in my old friend's cement board. I had this guy laying around. Actually, I got quite a bit of this stuff laying around. So this is a part sheet of cement board. It is, you put flame to it, it does nothing. I bet you it does something eventually, but for the time being, the idea behind the smoker is it's not actually a cooking smoker, it's more of a cold smoker. So I believe if you take the flammable material of the wood and replace it with something inflammable, isn't that the same thing? Non-flammable. I'm gonna line the inside, basically build a box on the inside of this guy with non-flammable cement board. I use the gingerbread method in order to build this little box. By what I mean is there's not really much holding it together besides thin set and mesh. So what I did is I buttered basically both edges of the board, stuck them together with thin set, kind of like a tile, or like I said, gingerbread method. It's like a gingerbread house made of concrete. Just walking past the old box, and you could see how the rust was already forming on that, but then you could see how there was still galvanizing on the metal. And that's what I was concerned about. I was concerned that, you know what, even if we got it to go all rusty and we thought we had all the galvanizing or the zinc coating off of it, I still feel as though there might be some galvanizing there. And that's why we built a cement box. This guy is a stainless steel 5-inch chimney liner, which I'm going to install in the hole that I just drilled out in order to channel the smoke up and out. It is designed for this. Throw the roof on. It's got cedar planking that we did before. I just milled up another log. We're gonna install the trib. Gonna reuse the old trib. It's got the Sugi band. I think I pronounced that stuff right. It's the art of preserving it with charcoal, so that trim should last forever now. And put the door on, and then we're waiting for a piece of steel that is going to be the internal smoker box. Again, this is a smoker, not an oven, so it doesn't have to, it shouldn't have to withstand fire, but I think it will this time. I got my drip tray to prevent any greases from dripping down. So I've got my old can of corn here. I got there's a little outlet on here, and as long as I slant it to the back, everything's gonna drip inside my little can of corn. And then I can take my can of corn and dispose of it somewhere else, as opposed to, you know, lighting her on fire. Let's make some supports from side to side. I've got some old rebar laying around. I'm gonna cut it to length, fit inside the smoker, then I can make multiple shelves going up depending on where you want to put your meats or fishes or cheeses or ham. I don't know, what do you smoke? Bacon? Got some rebar. Got 6 pieces of rebar. That means there's gonna be 3 shelves. I'm gonna space them different heights. Put my cross members up there, and that'll hold my stuff to smoke. A lot of you guys in the comments were commenting on how this is a bad idea for wood storage in this location. The bottom line is, over here there shouldn't be any fire, ever. And if you think it's a bad idea to store wood above, let's say, a fireplace, well, you're not wrong, but that being said, it shouldn't get here. And it didn't really get here when it burnt. It actually started over there, and you can see it kind of moved in this location here. So this is still a viable solution for, you know, covered wood storage. I think the technique of charring wood should be called like soot giban. Everything you touch, you turn black. I don't know, maybe we did it wrong. Who knows? I'm sure somebody will tell me. You're supposed to varnish it afterwards? Oh, Frankie's gonna check it out. Hey, Frankie? I think we're all ready for a test fire. But before we do that, give her a little... You know, I listen to the comments, right? So, safety eventually. I've got an old pressurized water fire extinguisher. So you put water in it, and then you pressurize it to 100 psi, and it shoots water. See how it works. So you pull the pin, and the thing is, it's reusable, and not only that, if you do have a fire and you use this thing, it's just shooting water on it, so you can save your meat. So how's that for water? See? Well, let's get this fire started. We've got some deer meat. We're gonna make some jerky. We're gonna give it a first run, test it out, make sure it doesn't burn down, because that's our goal, is to make a smoker that doesn't burn down, it just smokes. I think it'd be fitting to actually use parts of the smoker to start the fire. There we go, we got some wood, some char wood. Char wood burn. Let's have a look inside. Let's see how this thing's been going. It's been smoking for a couple hours now. We've had our venison, our deer meat in there. If you watch the original build, the same box, aesthetically pleasing box, is still there. It's got the Susugiban char marks on it. That's a reminder of don't overfire the smoker. Only make it smoke. We've got our stainless steel door. Thank you, Dennis. He found that as a piece of scrap. Got some hinges. We've got a little handle. So yeah, we can just open it up, and it's got a self-contained box that contains our fish or cheese or whatever you want to smoke. Down below, we've got our drip tray, and that's gonna prevent any kind of greases from going down inside where the heat comes out and the potential flames come over from the offset firebox. And then we've got our racks of adjustable height we can adjust. And what we've got here is some delicious jerky. Oh, that's smoky. That's smoky flavor. That's delicious stuff. I'm not sure we got to leave that on for much longer. As you can see, I think it's a success. Again, the first time success. We've got a little bit more technology in here. I did reach out to Napoleon, and they did send they were going to send me another probe. And when I do get that, I'm going to put it up here, and maybe we'll do another overnight / smoke. Maybe Grant wants to come over with another brisket and give this thing a whirl. Is it galvanized?
No, not galvanized.
So what's sheet metal made of? What kind of metal?
I don't know. Sheet metal. Tin?
Tin? Some sort of metal.
I only know it is sheet metal.
So we can eat off this stuff?
Yeah.
So as long as you don't overfire it?
That's right, yeah. I mean, it sits on top of a furnace. It can deal with really high temperatures.
Okay, so...
And we're not going to get too high.
We're not.
Temperatures aren't going to get too hot.
Right.